Hey, folks, family, thank you. Whoa, what a great crowd, what a great welcome. Thank you so much. What a crazy year. I sense a little bit of a rebellious spirit here at CPAC to this. Have you felt it at all? Well, I can tell you, more than a decade of frustration and disappointment by conservatives has led to outright rebellion across America against the status quo here in Washington. All of Washington, the whole Washington establishment, the political consultants, the media pundits have been wrong about what Americans want, and they still don't get it. Folks, conservatives are sick and tired of business as usual in Washington. And we're not going to take it anymore. I think that's why we're all here. How many of you feel that way today? We're just not going to take it anymore. You know, I've had a chance to watch it happen from inside Congress and from outside Washington, and I want to set the record straight about what's really going on in this year's election. You know, I ran for Congress in 1998 with the slogan, "To bring freedom home." This meant to move dollars and decisions out of Washington, back to states, back to communities, and back to the people. I thought all Republicans believed that. You know, I also thought Republicans wanted to stop wasteful spending, to balance the budget, to make health insurance affordable and portable for every American, to reduce taxes for hardworking Americans, to keep our promises to seniors and to veterans, and to control our borders. I thought all Republicans wanted that. That may be what Republicans said they wanted, but that's not what Republicans did when we had the majority in Congress and when we had the White House. In fact, those of us who tried to keep our promises to voters were made out to be villains. And you know, I was once dressed down by a senior Republican senator in front of all my colleagues after I endorsed and raised financial support for a few young conservative candidates for the Senate. You may know some of their names, but I won't mention them today. The official Republican Senate committee had endorsed more liberal candidates because I was told that my candidates could not win in these states that were more moderate. All the discussion was about how Republicans could get to 60 votes in the Senate. This senior leader, he wagged his finger at me and he said, "DeMint, you don't understand how Washington works. It's not about the principles, it's about the numbers." That's what's wrong with the whole Republican Party inside Washington today. And folks, too many Republican leaders don't believe conservative ideas and candidates can win. But we've proved them wrong. During Obama's presidency, conservative ideas and candidates have replaced 11 Democratic governors, 13 U.S. senators, 69 House seats, 913 state legislative seats, and have given them majorities in 30 state legislators. That's what conservative ideas will do. And think of this, just last month, West Virginia became the 26th state to pass a right-to-work law. Now, 6 states have defunded Planned Parenthood since the infamous baby parts videos. Many states have rejected Common Core and replaced them with ideas like education savings accounts. And 21 states have passed a Religious Freedom Act to protect the religious convictions of its citizens. Now, these are all ideas that win elections, and they make life better for every American. And it's long past time that the Republicans in Washington wake up to the values and the principles that Americans expect and deserve. Conservatives were patient with politicians in Washington far too long. But after all the bailouts in the last year of the Bush administration, all the special favors, and after the Obamacare takeover of health care, after the Dodd-Frank takeover of our financial industry and several $trillion a year deficits, it was time for a little takeover of our own as conservatives. Conservatives revolted with the Tea Party in 2010. Some of you were there. I saw you out there. And even though the Tea Partiers gave Republicans the majority in the House of Representatives, the Republican leadership wanted nothing to do with them when they got there and actually tried to crush these new conservatives. It was frustrating because the Tea Party represented the big tent of diverse Americans that Republicans said they wanted. 2 years later, when Republicans tried to take the White House back from Barack Obama, Republicans still wanted nothing to do with those grassroots activists that helped give them the majority. They listened to the Washington consultants. They ran a bland, middle-of-the-road campaign for presidency in 2012. And without bold conservative ideas to counter, and the grassroots activists that helped them 2 years before to counter Obama's ground game, Republicans lost big time, and Obama got another 4 years. But conservatives didn't give up. In 2013, a lot of you will remember, while Republican leaders in Washington were telling us that Obamacare was settled law, conservatives organized a nationwide effort to defund Obamacare. It was the only way that Republicans could stop this destructive law from calcifying around our healthcare system. All the Republican establishment, the downtown cronies, the media, they all claimed that taking a stand against Obamacare would hurt the Republicans in 2014. But Republicans had their best election in decades in 2014. They won the majority in the Senate. They added to their Tea Party majority in the House. And who's hurting now? Who's hurting now? Perhaps Eric Cantor and John Boehner? They started out to take us down, but that's not what happened, because this force is growing around the country. But the Washington establishment, the consultants, the Republican leadership in Washington said they won in 2014 because they beat conservatives with more moderate candidates. That's what they said. That was their assessment of the race. But senators like Tom Cotton and Joni Ernst didn't run on moderate ideas in 2014. They and many other Republican candidates for the House and the Senate, they ran on bold conservative ideas and against the Washington establishment. They ran against amnesty and for more border control. They ran on repealing and replacing Obamacare. They ran on cutting wasteful spending and balancing our budget. They ran on bold conservative ideas and they won. When Republicans run on bold, positive, conservative ideas, they win. This year, the leading Republican candidates are running on our conservative agenda to stop illegal immigration, repealing and replacing Obamacare, replacing Common Core with more education choice, balancing our budget and moving programs back to the states, reducing the size of the federal government, and creating more opportunities for all Americans. That's what they're running on. They're standing with hardworking, tax-paying, middle-class Americans against the special favors for political cronies of both parties. That's what they're running on, and that's why they're leading this year. That's what we do at the Heritage Foundation. That's what all of you do every day. Opportunity for all, favoritism for none. Opportunity for all, favoritism for none. If Americans know we really believe that, really mean it, they will support our ideas. This is our cry. This is our promise. Conservative ideas will achieve the promise of the American dream. Conservative values, principles, and policies will make life better for every American. This is not about politics. It's about people. It's about improving the lives, the quality of life for everyone. Friends, the political parties and the candidates will do their thing. But let's not forget that we are part of a battle of ideas for the heart and soul of the American people. We are the foot soldiers and the leaders of this conservative movement. Our job at Heritage, and your job wherever you're stationed in this battle, is to make sure Americans know that our values, principles, and policies are what made our country so exceptional, so strong, and so prosperous. If we do our job right, if we continue to grow and build this conservative movement, the candidates will run on our ideas and they will win. Then, and only then, can we reclaim America. Please pray for our country, folks. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, folks.